dialed your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it, folks. So let's waste no time. Ooh, yeah. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Speed cameras are a topic of law. After a bit of a delay due to supply chain issues, the new ordinance for speed cameras is back in the headlines in Youngstown. Now, according to one Mediator headline published November 15th, the goal is to reduce the speed in school zones by placing cameras in school zone sometime next year. Now, the cameras will also act in giving civil citations to those who have failed or break the speed limit. That's my story number 1 made of this week. Story number 2. Kennedy to be replaced by 2 potential favorites. Justice Kennedy. Republican Sharon Kennedy will be moving from an associate justice to chief justice of the Ohio Supreme Court on January 1st, according to a local article. Now, the 7-member court consists of 4 Republicans. The 2 early favorites to replace Kennedy are Megan E. Shanahan and Ben Flowers. Story number 2 shows that Republicans are gaining a lot of ground in Ohio. That's why story number 2 made it this week. Story number 3. YSU considering cutting programs. According to a Mediator article published November 11th, 179 courses at YSU have been recommended to be consolidated. Now, they're going to be rotated or out or not offered in the future. That's pretty amazing. That just shows you what's going on in the academic arena. Now, the article goes on in more detail about the program cuts. Now, what got the story in is how and why universities are considering program cuts at a time when education is needed the most. The story shines some light on academics and the continued push to stress the importance of an education. Story number 3. Big headline. Story number 4. Bournemouth speaks out about road project. Businesses on the Western Reserve stretch have been speaking out after a headline surfaced about them losing business due to work on a sanitary sewer line along Western Reserve Road between Hitchcock Road and Glenwood Avenue in Bournemouth. Now, what got the story in is the fact that that we're headed into the holiday season, and a lot of businesses depend on the holiday season to stay out of the black, stay out of the red, and stay in the black, make a profit. That's why story number 4 made in this week, because shine some light on what's actually taking place and how businesses are doing everything they can to stay profitable. That's why story number 4 made in this week. Even if there's road construction hindering businesses, they're doing everything to get people's attention, say we need those customers. Big help. Story number 5. YPD gets 4 new officers and Brookfield gets its first full-time female firefighter. Mayor Jamel Tito Brown of Youngstown swore in 4 new officers. Brookfield made headlines also after hiring their first full-time female firefighter, Carly Jackson. Carly has worked in both the public and private sectors as each of these individuals look to further their career in law enforcement and firefighting. Good luck. And that's what story number 5 made it this week. Story number 6. $27 million in flood relief grants for Bournemouth. Flooding has been a big problem in Bournemouth, so Bournemouth trustees have approved a work authorization that could potentially get the township $27 million in federal grant money for 2 major flood mitigation projects. Targeted areas include $17 million for Glenwood storm improvements and $10 million for Bournemouth Plaza storm improvement projects. The story is still developing as Bournemouth still tries to tackle the flooding problem. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, the hardest part about trying to get up, do this job, and keep you informed is the fact that some people may agree with me using my time positively, and some people may not. But at the end of the day, I have to make a choice, and that's to try my best to keep you informed. I don't know everything, but I do know that that I'm trying to use my time wisely for the greater good of the public. You don't have to like me, but at least do one thing, and that's try to stay informed. Story number 7. Could water rate hikes be on the way? Could water rate hikes be on the way? We're headed to some cold water here in the wintertime. This is not good news for residents looking for a break when it comes to their bills, folks. According to a Mediator article published November 11th, the Mahoning Valley Sanitary District is proposing a 3-year bulk rate water increase to pay for nearly $70 million in improvements to its facility and water pipeline. The article goes on to talk about where the rate increases could take place. The story is still developing. That's why story number 7 made it to the top 2 this week. Story number 8 at the top. Local headline and developing news story that made it this week. Don't you feel the spring, the fresh spring air exiting the building, and the cold, bitter air getting into your lungs? These are the things I have to toughen up about to get through mediation. Story number 8. $1.6 million for road projects, folks. Mahoning County Commissioners approved an application from the Mahoning County Engineer's Office to the Ohio Public Workers Commission for grant funding for the county's 2023 road and bridge safety upgrade. $1.6 million is the number set for road projects, according to a local article. Struthers, Craig Beach, Mahoning County, Campbell, Sebring, Goshen, Damascus, New Middleton, Springfield, Poland, Boardman, Milton, Canfield, Austintown, and Coatesville were all mentioned in the report to receive a portion of the $1.6 million for road upgrades. So story number 8 made it to the top this week, folks. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories, so don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator to be Brian West. I'm right back.
Tune in and don't forget to subscribe to Method 8 Inc. YouTube channel. You can also watch free public entertainment. And don't forget to show some support by visiting www.method8inc.com by buying something, clicking something, watching something, or just reading something. You can also sponsor a program as well. That's www.method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
What does Method8inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Oh yeah! And yes, we are chipmunks.
I'm gonna schedule you back in about a week, alright? Put you on 10 milligrams. If you need any refills, you gotta let me know, alright?
I didn't become a doctor to drug people.
Give up on your dream, John. You cannot cure crazy.
But he's one of my patients.
No, patience! Well, tell him to stop coming here and robbing me! Are you married? I see your ring. Yeah.
But all I know is I need you and you will need me.
Why don't you have your wedding photos up? Well, I have my reasons for that.
No! You don't know anything about my patients, Kathy! You don't know anything about what these kids, these parents are going through. There's a jungle out here, Kathy! So stay your lane!
I don't have a chemical imbalance. I just want to go home.
Together, we can make magic.
Please don't leave me this way!
I'm gonna need therapy after this! Who gonna check and see if I'm okay?
Hey, Doc. Don't let me down. Because those meds, they're working.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, I cannot seem to get this under comprehension or understanding of why a world leader like Vladimir Putin would decide to go to war with Ukraine at such a time like this. And then on top of that, there's some headlines saying that he could be planning to escape to Africa. These are some very odd times that we're in, you know. I mean, I'm sitting here one day and I see people in love with America, ready to go to fight after the World Trade Tower hits. And now all of a sudden everybody's all divided. Republicans, Democrats. And I'm wondering, I actually started to think that there's a force in nature that really wants to drive a recovering guy like me crazy. And I've come to accept that. But I cannot fathom this idea of war. Why would somebody want to go to war when the world is literally already falling apart? You would think that you'd get it by now. Dropping bombs. And on top of that, they're talking about climate change and climate agreements. Don't you get it that more bombs go to, if climate change is man-made? Things that make you wonder about life. Things that make you ponder the realms of manhood and reality. Are we really stupid? Are we really that smart? Or are we just God's creation searching for a way out of this mess? We have stepped into the twilight zone, folks. Well, folks, let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 1. What would you do to fight hunger? Somalia is seeing its worst drought in 40 years, and according to a BBC report, the international community wants to recognize the crisis as a famine. International activists and leaders are starting to engage. They're starting to become more supportive. Now, in 2023, the country will most likely shift from emergency to famine. So the country's in very bad shape. The story is still developing. Story number 2. Global population grows to 8 billion. What effect will an 8 billion population growth have on the planet? According to one CNN report, the growth is due to the gradual increase in human health, nutrition, personal hygiene, and medicine. Asia accounted for most of the growth, gaining some 700 million people since 2011. India added about 180 million people and is set to surpass China as the world's most populous nation next year. What got the story in is the fact that rapid population growth combined with climate change theories could cause mass migration and conflict around, according to the article, around the world. The story is still developing. That's story number 2 later this week. Story number 3. Bad news for student debt relief hopefuls. Biden's plan for student debt relief took a turn for the worse after the court struck it down. According to a USA Today report, this will mainly hurt Black and Latino families the most. The college debt numbers are staggering, folks. Black college graduates exit college with about $25,000 more debt on average than white students. The article also states that 4 years later, nearly half of Black people owe about 12.5% more than they initially borrowed. Story number 3 is just heating up as the college debt debate continues to heat up as well. Big head. Story number 4. Tracking the war games. The war games are becoming more intense, folks. The Guardian admits that Putin's ally, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has admitted to interfering in the U.S. election. If I butchered that name, it's probably worth it. He's been interfering with the United States election, cheating in the United States election. It is becoming more so evident that Russia's war strategy is all over the globe, all over the global chessboard, folks, after a wave of Russian missiles hit Ukraine after Zelensky outlined conditions for peace at the G20 summit. Now, tracking such stories continue to prove that Putin wants any deal. He doesn't want any deals with the West, period. He wants deals out of Russia by continuing to attack Ukraine. We have to look at the fact that Ukraine was once considering buddying up with NATO. They were buddying up with Great Britain and England. So now we're seeing the side effect of that. New reports are surfacing about Putin linking up with other enemy nations to gain more ground. The story is still developing. That's on story number 4 made in this week. Well, folks, those are our top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator to me, Brown West. I'll be right back.
Assigned to guard the four corners of Escobar, were you not given the duties to rule with an iron fist?
I'm not strong enough anymore.
Who is the leader of the governing board?
Luna, sir. She has been appointed to take the place of your father.
Escobar's governing board is in danger. Our land is producing enough crops to survive.
I can't feed Escobar with dying crops. Magic Lady, what the hell are you talking about?
She comes at nights and visits me in my sleep.
Hush! I know your story. You can't hurt her anymore. She's coming to you for a reason.
What do you know about my son?
Does this drawing look familiar to you?
That jewel is glowing again, which means something's about to go down.
They want to hand Escobar over to you.
I don't think it would be wise for Luna to put herself in danger at this pivotal time.
Do you doubt me?
If we unite now, we'll save our planet and our people.
You have to defend Escobar.
If she's worthy, they won't kill her.
This gonna be fun. I ain't used him in a minute.
I'm with Luna.
Defend us, Luna. You have my blessing.
And that'll be our ticket to the North Star.
I'll be a new Escobar.
We are way out of our league on this one. We are not supposed to be in this deep. We're into some kind of science fiction stuff here. The Field Angels is an investigative unit for youth.
The last thing I heard him talk about was a nucleus or something.
The nucleus is the biggest conspiracy in the field of kidnapping.
Is it real?
7 years ago, you wanted to be a superhero, and you wanted little kids to be your superhero project.
Kid, get down on the ground now. What are you doing? Put your hands up! Hands up! Get down!
I thought I told you the kid was dead.
When was the last time you had a vacation?
I'm fine! Whoever is controlling this nucleus has found a way to move matter with photon particles.
Do you mean like a spark?
You apply it to the light, the photon particles, it attracts.
If anything happens to one of these girls, surely they will shut us down.
We lose it right now, big.
You have 24 hours to get back here with that other field angel, or don't bother, because nobody here will have a job.
I have practiced science my entire adult life, Mr. Daniels. That statement you just made makes you sound like an idiot.
What treated?
Somebody want to tell me what's going on?
You know what I hate most of all? An undisciplined child.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. Go to the website. It's method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor the program. Welcome back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. Folks, there are some angry people out here. We got Thanksgiving coming up, and I talked to a buddy of mine, and he calls me. He said, "Brian, you know what? I'm gonna start being evil. I'm gonna start not giving a care. I'm gonna start not giving a you know what." I said, "Why would you want to think like that?" So everybody else who don't give a care seem to be getting what they want. Get everything. The women, the money, cars, clothes, houses. Okay. And people get upset. I start talking to them about the Indians and Thanksgiving. What did they ever do? What did the Indians ever get? This country ain't made for good people, Brian. I say, oh, wow. You know? And every time I hear this stuff, I get all concerned. I get concerned about my friends, my brothers, African brothers crying and stuff. America is such a terrible place. White brothers getting all upset. Well, what about my money? What about my money? I said, man, this place. And I started thinking about my old English teacher. Her name was Miss Whitehouse. She used to tell me one thing about English and writing and journalism. There's two sides of the coin, bro. You can be optimistic or you can be pessimistic. And I'm trying to keep the optimism alive. So I talked to my buddy. I said, you got to think positive. Can't let it get you down. There are some positive things happening. You got a chance. You get a check in the mail. You get to go out, find something to do. You get on top of that, if you want more knowledge, you get to try to obtain power. Whew. Like I said, I can't save the world, but I can at least think optimistic. And if I think optimistic, then I will believe that I can save it. So this Thanksgiving, if I'm thankful for anything, I'm thankful that I can think optimistically. And if I know I can volunteer my time to do something positive. Makes me want to believe it's something special, like my twinkly little smile. Well, folks, let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Iran and Yemen in the headlines. Fox News reports that the U.S. Navy intercepted a fishing vessel trying to smuggle explosive material from Iran to Yemen. This article was published November 15th. It was enough material to fuel more than a dozen medium-range ballistic missiles, thus providing more insight to the global war games. And actually the question is, what is the world and enemy nations? What are they preparing for? Big headline. Story number 6. What impact will inflation have on the holidays? Fox News reports that inflation will hit the holiday season shoppers pretty hard this year as toy makers unveil smaller items priced below $10 as families struggle, according to the headlines, to try to afford these things. Now, the smaller size toys, along with cheaper prices, will help struggling families afford hot items, according to the report. So story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week. Story number 7 in the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Whew, folks, we've come this long way. Come this long way just to give you these top 2 stories. Don't you feel some type of privilege, some type of benefit from me being able to do this for you? That's the benefit of freedom. Story number 7. Be thankful for the Mediator. More big shootings and suicide stories on the national stage. USA Today reports that 4 soldiers in Alaska died by suicide in 1 month despite a surge in mental health assistance. 4 students at the University of Idaho also made headlines after being found dead near campus in what is suspected to be a homicide, according to a USA Today report. 3 University of Virginia football players have been killed in a shooting. The suspect, according to the report, is a former UVA, University of Virginia football player. Now, another report by Fox News does mention that how the suspect, Christopher Daniel Jones, faced a hazing probe as a football player. 13-year-old reportedly was gunned down while raking leaves in the front yard of his Maryland home. These are all stories that are very detailed, and these details in these stories are still emerging day by day, showing that we still have some very, very bad crime vibes in the air, bad vibes in the air, period. These stories add to another long list of problems of young adults dying at an early age. That's story number 7. Also made it to the top this week. Big headline. Story number 8 in the top international headline and developing news story that made it this week. Folks, I'm thankful to be doing this show. It's not easy to do. It definitely takes a lot of dedication. I could be doing anything with my time, but I choose to do this. Some people say, why? You know, when you have so many news programs, but big in a certain demographics, I feel it's important that I try to push the importance of being informed for all demographics and all age groups, all races, creeds, and colors. So being a CEO and founding a company to a media company, I try to do my best to dedicate myself to try to keep people informed. I know this show may not be important for everybody, but I am thankful that that I do have that vision and that passion to do my best to just stress the importance of being informed. So folks, if you're thankful for anything this year, think about me. Be thankful that a little man like me comes in here voluntarily to give you the top 8 international headlines and local headlines and developing news stories that made it. So story number 8, job cuts in the news. Even when it's bad news. Forbes reports that the economy is sick. According to the report, the core of the problem is how people have begun to outspend the growth of their incomes. Now, Amazon has also made headlines for job cuts in what is usually their biggest time of year. Now, one report says that the online retail giant plans to lay off about 10,000 employees, the largest in the company's history. Now, another CNBC report citing how to handle the uptick in layoffs also adds to a frightening jobs report. Now, it's important to note that several job cut reports are in circulation, adding to more fears of a dwindling economic recovery. Now, optimism is keeping people in the fight. That's why Story number 8 made it to the top this week. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local and international headlines and developing news stories that made it. I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of doing the research. As usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets, the journalists, the people on the front lines. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the media, the man in the middle, navigating the news just for you. If you want to show some support here at Method 8, it does not take much. All you have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program, or stop at the store, 5648 Market Street in Mormon, Ohio, and maybe buy something, show some support. All of that goes into this program and other things that we do at Method 8. Well, folks, I'm out of here. I'll be back next week looking through over 200 or more stories just for you to keep you informed. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, have a good holiday. If not, then be thankful for something else. Well, folks, I am out of here. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator. Me, Brian West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.